Let's go now to Mustafa Barghouti, who's the Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative. He joins us live now, also from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Really good to have you with us, Mustafa. We know that hopes of a ceasefire for the holy month of Ramadan were dashed days ago when the various sides were unable to come to an agreement to release the hostages in exchange for a cessation of hostilities. What do we know of the talks at this point? Have they stalled?
Well, for the 157 days, Israel continues this criminal act of genocide against the Palestinian people. And now with Ramadan, they are even continuing their attacks and maybe enhancing their attacks, killing so many more Palestinians, keeping people in starvation. The talks are not stalled, but Israel is not giving any chance for their progress. The issue is not on both sides. It's on the side of the Israelis, because Israel wants the exchange of prisoners. They want their prisoners back, but they want to continue this war. And they don't want to remove their troops from inside Gaza. They don't want to end occupation. So they practically tell the Palestinian side, give us back our prisoners. You will not get all your prisoners, and we will continue killing you. And we will continue this occupation. As a matter of fact, the Israeli army is now consolidating the paths, the roads that divide Gaza into two pieces. They are consolidating their occupation presence. And I think even the Americans are helping them with that, with this idea about a port that will be supervised by Israel. So the issue here is on the side of Israel. And the issue here is on the side of the United States of America and the whole world that cannot stop this atrocity from continuing, that cannot stop this terrible genocide that is taking place against the Palestinian people.
Yes, you mentioned the idea of that temporary port that Washington says will be built to help in the delivery of aid. This, as we've heard from our correspondents on the ground, the humanitarian situation really is at breaking point. The UN is warning that hundreds of thousands of Gazans could starve to death. There could be widespread famine across the enclave. What do you make of Washington's response here? We know they've ramped up the rhetoric against Israel, calling for a ceasefire, which we didn't see in the early days of the war, and we're now seeing them propose this idea of a port. What is Washington's game here right now?
The least that can be said about Washington's position is that it is hypocritical. If they really mean ceasefire, they should go to the United Nations Security Council and pass a resolution that there should be ceasefire and force Israel to accept it. They can do that if they want, but they're not doing that. They talk about temporary kinds of ceasefire, but they don't talk about complete and permanent ceasefire. And people are not going to starve. They are already starving. Already 27 people died from starvation, mainly children. We are talking about 700,000 people in the north of Gaza, including 350,000 children who are starving and who can starve to death. The United States of America can force Israel to open the roads. There are 5 passages at least that could allow trucks with aids to come in, that could allow flowers, clean water to come in, that could allow food to come to the north of Gaza, which is starving. But they're not doing that. They talk about a port which the construction of which could take between 2 to 6 months. And then shipments will take 3 days to get there, while you can, in 50 minutes, get the shipment through the passages to the areas that they need it. I am very worried about this idea of the port. I think they are diverting the attention from the terrible strangulation that Palestinians have because of Israeli siege. And we are very worried about this idea of the port because it could be used by Israel to evacuate people from Gaza, which was in the first place the main idea of Israeli attack on Gaza, the ethnic cleansing of the population of Gaza.
Okay, Mustafa Barghouti, we'll have to leave it there. Always good to get your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.